In doubt, return to Cube. Always a staple of my channel, one Minecraft mod pack or another. This one is using the Fabric mod loader, which completely changes what I'm allowed to install or not install. Forge mods and Fabric mods are just incompatible with one another unless the mod developer themselves has made a port. The focus mod of this playthrough is called Spectrum. It's an interesting mod that centers around, well, magic and color theory, and is a little bit in the vein of Astral Sorcery, which I believe is still stuck back on 112, in that it centers around a large, upgradable crafting altar, and also has some resources that must be painstakingly farmed. I'm just setting up my initial settings here. Keep inventory so I don't lose items on death. And I found the setting just yesterday that prevents creepers from destroying blocks. So when they explode and create a creeper hole, I can refill the whole hole. And we spawn, well, this is less than ideal. In fact, I don't think I could get less than ideal here. Well, maybe spawning under the ocean. That would be bad. So, there are some good points and some bad points of spawning in a desert, next to a badland, with a jungle within reach. And the good news is that there's plenty of sand available, and I don't have to go across half the world to collect cactus. The bad news is that normal oak wood is going to be in short supply. Oh, we have a big old hole that goes straight into the guts of the world. Version 121, as this is notorious for its sinkholes, an error in terrain generation, where certain underground features kind of pull the surface of the world down into them. Sinkholes, I believe, usually indicate that there's like a clay grotto down there. Not that I'm really invested in getting moss and that. Well, I kind of am invested in getting that much clay. But I can't really get there without having a whole bunch of, well, clay in the first place. So, a bit of a chicken and egg problem. First things first, we're just going to mine this whole tree. Two by two jungle trees are rather convenient in that way. You can just spiral up the entire trunk, climb the whole thing using its own bulk, and then grab every log on the way back down. It's rather time-consuming. But then, everything in Minecraft at the very beginning is time-consuming. We've got quite a few mods in here. Rather than go on and on about info dumping them, I will do my best to highlight them as they become relevant. Although, speaking of relevance, that book in my first hotbar slot is evidence of Tinker's Construct, or rather, the version of Tinker's Construct that was ported to 121 Fabric. That's called Hephaestus. It's a mostly faithful recreation of TCON, with some additional features here and there, and some missing features possibly as well, or maybe I just don't understand the current version of TCON on Forge. But the core mechanic of Tinker's Construct is extremely customizable tools that you can switch up their upgrades and change what materials they're made from. And basically, it's back when I was on Nightingale and pointed out that crafting tools out of materials and selecting the exact stat spread the final tool would have by changing up what its components were, and how that was my favorite part. This is why. Because Tinker's Construct does the exact same thing. Only it does so without having, tier 1 predator resources and tier 3 prey resources, and going to different worlds for different difficulty levels of tree. But even without doing all that, there's still a lot of depth to it. Materials do have to be chosen with care, and each tool has to be purpose-built. Alright, we've reached the top. Now we can begin our descent. And look at all that wood. There is no way I'd have over a stack of logs on my first tree, or even my first day in an oak biome. The only biome that can compare to jungle for a first day wood haul is Mega Taiga with the giant spruces. Because again, they're 2x2. There's also a melon patch right below me. For readily available food. It's not the greatest food, but it'll serve. Now I just need to get the rest of the way to the ground, collect all the wood, and let the tree leaves above me decay. A bit surprised I haven't randomly picked up a stick yet. Sticks tend to drop from leaves as they break or decay. And while there are sticks hanging around on the ground here, none of them have managed to fall on my head. I've got our starting bundle of wood, a bunch of melon slices to snack on. Pretty reasonable start. Going to want some cactus samples so I don't forget that they exist later. And it is sunset, so I took altogether too long with that tree and need to find some immediate shelter. Also on the to-do list, figuring out where we'll establish our home base. The answer is not in any of these visible biomes. I need to be in a plains. One thing that's going to trouble us a little bit here is there's no readily exposed stone, which will make jumping to stone tools a bit difficult. However, there is this convenient desert temple we can harvest. Doing so without tools is a bit ambitious. But as long as I break this block, the trap is disarmed. And now I have TNT. The pressure plate isn't particularly valuable, but it's, it's something. Golden apple. What a find this early on. Make that 3 golden apples. Definitely don't need a curse book. You can have the pressure plate too. That's what, 2 stone? Horse armor. At this stage, loot is loot. Three saddles? That's starting to get into why am I wasting inventory space on this territory. That last chest can stay there with its Book of Curse. Where's the exit? Over here. So now it's night. And there's really not much I can do about that. Probably my wisest course of action is to just run willy-nilly across the desert and rely on the wide open spaces so nothing can sneak up on me. Just keeping a weather eye on gangs of roving skeletons. All while watching that mini-map in the top right. Journey map, of course. Easily one of the strongest mapping mods for Minecraft. At least that I know of. It provides a mini-map, a mega map that can be opened, support for waypoints. Basically, if you spin the camera and get turned around as much as I do, it ensures you will never lose your way. Sugarcane is a nice thing to have in my back pocket. And that is a stalk of bamboo, which is, I mean, it would be nice to have, but it's not critical. And now we start getting to some normal terrain. You may also notice the top center of my screen a tooltip, calling out whatever block my crosshair is pointing at if it's within reach. That is provided by Jade. I think. There are several mods that do that, and I believe Jade is the one I currently have installed, but if I get the mod wrong, it's not, it's not a big deal. Uh-oh. I think the skeleton is coming to punish me for getting the mod wrong. I've been spotted by all the skeletons in the region. The good news is we found a plains biome, however small it is. These clovers are what we're looking for. Progression in the Spectrum mod demands access to clovers at some point. So it's kind of good to have access to them and know where they are. And also just to live in the area. Because it's a lot easier to live around clover than it is to go out hunting for it. So this is beginning to look like a really good spot to set up. There's a lot of open plains, access to the jungle, access to... hello. Access to oak and birch over there. Horses. If I didn't have a creeper chasing me, I could make use of those saddles that we picked up. That's fine. I'll just keep on running. I'm not really going to escape this spider, I don't think, unless I keep running. I may have to turn and punch it to death. Oh, a savanna. This is a diverse little area, isn't it? Most biomes are right within walking distance, except swamp. These spiders are persistent. Is that a mine shaft? I just saw a glimpse of wooden planks down in this hole. That is a mine shaft. Alright then. Now that we have a sunrise, we can wait for most of the hostiles to die off and plan where we will be building. Especially now the map is brightened up. Well, I want to be within reach of water and trees and not super far away from the desert up here. So maybe this stretch. That we will have access to river, woodlands, jungle, a band of desert. Whatever this crater is. Have a look at that crater. No, it's just a crater. Remarkable for being very unremarkable. Even better, there's the beginnings of a mine tunnel right there. So right here, on this very flat expanse, I have pretty much everything I could want. So let's begin the most basic setup. And give ourselves a waypoint so we don't lose the location. My storage will be more than a little haphazard at first. Things get better organized when I have access to more storage. So our first trick here is that I will not be making traditional Minecraft tools for as long as that can be avoided. Now we do that. What? Those are some interesting tooltips. I think I know why it's doing that. And as bizarre as that looks, that's actually perfectly normal. More to the point. Here in the Hephaestus, or Tinker's Construct for Fabric handbook, we are introduced to pattern crafting. Crafting patterns are used to make tool parts in the part builder. They're also used to make the part builder itself. Then there's a tinker station that's used to assemble tools, which is also made with patterns. And there's a chest to hold tool parts, not usually critical unless you're a fan of making spares. This tinker's chest, I don't actually know what this does. It requires lapis to make, so that's out of the question for now. We have some lore. Librarian of the Slime Crafter Guild. That's a reference to the developers. And then we have the materials library. So wooden tools have such and such stats, and it's a lot of stats to keep track of. Stone tools, flint, bone, copper, and chorus fruit. Yeah, like I'm gonna have that at this stage. Leather, string, and then ranged materials. So, skipping around just a bit, I'm getting a bunch of patterns, just like a stupid amount. Make a pattern crafter, or a part builder, out of jungle planks. It inherits the wood type that you use, which is interesting for aesthetic reasons, but also not super duper important. Part builder, tinker station. I'm missing something. Part builder, tinker station. Part chest I don't need. I know what it is. I'm thinking of older versions. I'm used to there being a pattern puncher, but that's not how it works anymore. So put the empty patterns in here, and we have access to all the patterns in the mod. But while we have access to large plate and hammerhead and all these other large tool parts, the tinker station is limited and cannot use them. So what we're going to do here, these are actually out of the question for now, because the tinker station also cannot handle most metals. So our first order of business is to make a pickaxe. Pickaxe is made from a head, handle, and binding. Materials-wise, we don't have access to much. But it's still valuable to shop around a bit and make sure. So we have bone, string. I could have vine if I made some shears. That might not be a bad idea, actually. Wood, and there's no stone yet. There's also flint, and I really don't know why flint is also flickering through what is clearly basalt. Why? Flint and basalt are not the same thing at all. But I guess. Anyway. We need a handle. Handles all provide multipliers. So a durability multiplier would be one of the best things to get. But a mining speed multiplier as well would be nice. Rock at an 0.9 durability, not good. The 105 trade-off is not sufficient. 0.85 for a flint handle, not good. 0.75 for a bone handle, really bad. 08 for copper. So it looks like the only valid handle material that I have access to is wood. Wood also provides the cultivated tree, which makes repairing it more efficient. So I need a jungle wood tool handle. And that is part number 1. Part number 2, a head. Well, I have access to wood, durability 60, harvest tier wood. Yeah, because it's wood. Mining speed of 2, no damage. That doesn't sound great. Stone would be leaps and bounds better, but I don't have any yet. Flint? I mean, it's not as durable as stone. It's not as fast as stone, but it does more damage, so flint would be a weapon material. And then bone here. Not as good at the mining speed. But I have bone. It'll give me a harvest tier of the stone. This would be a good starting point. Copper would be great, but I have none of that. Bone also, a 125 is not a bad attack damage multiplier. It's equal to flint, and it does bonus damage that cuts through armor. So a bone weapon would be a good idea too, and I've been reading the book for too long. We have run out of daylight and shelter. So I'm going to need a small blade for a sword, and a pick head, two more wooden handles, and the last thing is a binding. And to save time, let's just make a wooden binding. I could go back into the book and look at the benefits of string binding, but it's really not worth looking at right this second. I need to get these built immediately. Bone pickaxe, bone sword. Crossbow is also on the table. Would be an interesting thought. Not that I have arrows. And now that we are barely capable of defending ourselves, we need to get into the Stone Age. Some light would be nice too. Oh hey, copper. Lots of andesite down here. Really, I'm seeing more variant stone than I'm seeing regular stone. Which is more than a little odd. I'm not at all accustomed to going downstairs or underground, and it's just andesite, granite, diorite, diorite, granite, diorite, andesite. Where's my regular stone? When did normal stone become an endangered species? That will update the gravel and make it fall. I don't want to do that. I'm hearing footsteps up over my head somewhere. I don't like it. I'm pretty much going to be down here cutting whatever is convenient. That is not convenient, whatever that is. Until dawn breaks. So apparently this little cubby down here is decently safe. And also grassy for some reason down here in the dark. World Gen is weird like that sometimes. What the? Okay, random pocket of water. It doesn't go to the surface. But there's magma blocks over there, which are honestly kind of convenient. Is it getting light already? I hope so. No, that is still very much a nighttime sky. The moon is directly overhead, which is why it appears bright. We'll just continue to quarry stone. Having access to a large stock of basic stone is always important. That'll allow me to actually build myself a shelter. And there's also all this jungle wood. I could do it with that, but I don't wanna. Wooden shelters are always risky because fire. All it takes is one stray lightning strike and your entire wooden house burns down. I like all this coal though. This will make my fuels. This will fuel my furnaces once I get some furnaces built. And now I'm just wasting time until sunrise, trying not to be noticed. My tool has one durability left. Well, that'll cut the short one. That's fine. It's now in a broken state, but it hasn't been destroyed. Because Tinker's Construct / Hephaestus is good like that. You there. Ow. Give me your bones. This isn't so different from the last playthrough with Intangible, is it? Give me your bones. and use these bones in the Tinker Station to repair our tools. And get some furnaces going. One thing that's always crucial is to have a supply of charcoal. We'll also get the copper done, but not the iron, because I only have 3 of that. Each single piece of coal can process 8 items in the furnace, so I prefer to always furnace in multiples of 8. Now it would be nice to have some walls, but really, I tend to operate better when I live underground. So rather than consuming materials to build more outdoor space, I can gain materials by carving more indoor space. And I think that's going to happen here. And now that we're starting to have access to copper, remember we're currently on bone. Durability 100, mining speed 2.5, attack damage 1.25. It's not impressive. Copper has even less attack damage, but a mining speed of 5 and a tier of iron, also double the durability. And the dwarven trait, so the deeper underground we are, the faster it digs. So what we can do here, which is one of the major selling... I didn't know this was a thing. I did not know the part builder linked up with furnaces. That's nifty. But by linked up, I mean part builder, Tinker Station. Right-click the part builder, I have access to the Tinker Station, and also somehow the furnace. We don't question it. But anyway, copper pickhead. And I can take that copper pickhead, throw my bone pickaxe down, add the copper pickhead to it, and it just replaces the bone pickhead. And you can see the stats change from 100 durability and harvest tier of stone, mining speed. It all goes up, except the attack damage, which goes down. But this isn't a combat weapon. And there we go. The bone pickhead in this process is destroyed. Now I'm also going to want an axe so I can collect even more wood and a shovel. So we can actually get some carving. So we can actually get carving in the ground here. Annoyingly, there is no shovel. What we have is the mattock, which is a farming tool that is effective on logs, dirt, sand, gravel, plants. So it's kind of a shovel, kind of a hoe, kind of an axe. And then there's the pickadze, or the pickadze, which is good on rock, dirt, so it's a pick and a shovel, but it's only good on basic stones, which is why I avoid it. So we need an axe head, a round thing, a handle. And you know, if the mattock is good on logs, then we don't need a regular axe. So I'll just go wooden handle, copper axe head, and then it's not really I think the round thing counts as a part of the head and is not considered a binding or anything like that, so I may want copper for that as well. There's my copper cutter mattock. I don't know where it got the sticky trait. Hello? Explain the sticky trait? Attackers may become stuck in place or at least slowed. How did that happen? Anyway. Right here, I think. Is where I will cut my front door. It's a west-facing front door, which I don't like. But you work with the terrain you're given. I think this is low enough for the entrance. I'm very specifically making sure that all this is completely exposed to the sky, so I don't have undead just standing right here, shaded by some awning I've forgotten, waiting to kill me as soon as I open the door. Speaking of door, jungle door, not my favorite. So how about we don't? How about we look for that savannah, which was all the way down here. What else can we do for doors? Let's shop for door styles. Birch, completely opaque. Oak would be good. But acacia has the vertical slats. This is the only thing, in my opinion, that acacia is good for. And there's skyroot, which I would have to get into the sky for. Yeah, in my opinion, the only value acacia has is the acacia door, because its vertical slats give you the most visibility. Other than that one feature, I can't stand the color of acacia. And you know what? say, you know what? I do have 3 saddles after all. Why not make use of our incredible good fortune? Especially since it's nearly sunset already. How did that happen? Speed 7-9. Speed 8. Speed 12. Jump height only 2, but you know what? I think the speed 12 is worth it. You are our candidate. I insist. Ride the horse. I don't have all night. It's a fighter. And we got it. Saddle, armor, off to the savannah at speed 12. Also, sheep. I am going to have to make those shears after all. This mattock is so much better than breaking wood by hand. Now, back we go. The creepers are already out. There's the trader. Don't care about him. Alright, acacia doors. Nope, that skeleton spotted us. That'll make this difficult. Come on down. You've been baited. And now we have the beginnings of an indoor base. Let's see. Rotten flesh can be melted down for blood. And it does other things I am not aware of. So that's it. Rotten flesh, not especially useful in mods as in vanilla. Okay. What now? Now I need to spend some time carving out my actual base area, figuring out what I want it to look like. We'll start out with a short hallway, so just in case I get some creepers right up on the door, nothing is within their threat range. And then beginning here, we'll start expanding. I usually like to put my main storages in. Well, that's not good. Can we not have a crevasse skylight directly into where I'm planning on building? I mean, it was a little peculiar to have all this dirt. Right now, at least we're cut off. Or not. There's more access to the surface that way. If there's anything not to like about Minecraft 1.20.1, it's that World Gen really needs to calm down. Some days you just want the old underground structure, where you could confidently cut your way into a short little stone chamber like this, and everything would be fine. You wouldn't have to worry about opening into a random crevasse or a pocket of water or one of 1,000 other things that you now have to contend with and either make a feature of your build or destroy. And I think I'm going to choose feature. All this dirt is conveniently fast to clear away, and I'm going to need a large open space anyway. So we will make the awkward world gen work for us. And by large space, I mean a large space. A space that I, in fact, never make large enough. So to make absolutely sure that there's enough space, I'm going to have this 4-block, well, buffer. I just want a 4-block buffer around everything. And then this 5th block will be the wall corner. And it'll become clear what this is later. And the 6th block here will be the floor. How big a floor do I need? Well, I wonder if that's in this book, or if I need one of the other books. Because we're already laying plans for the further reading section. By combining a book with grout, we'll get puny smelting, which is the beginning of advancing tier in Hephaestus. There's also Tinker's Gadgetry with Sky Slime, Fantastic Foundry with Nether Grout, which is almost but not quite useless. But bottom line is, that's on Bigfoot? No, that's just grass. Bottom line is, this is going to be my main antechamber. storage here. Basic storage system, or my basic storage setup is, well, pretty much what I have up here. Pardon me. Get away from my stuff. Everybody get away from my stuff. I'm gonna get shot to death. I can't afford to get shot to death because I don't have a bed yet. My goal was to go up there and grab the crafting bench. But that didn't happen. So I may as well make one. I mean, what is it? 4 wood? Not a huge deal. That's our first storage shelf. And then the 2 chests I already have up there come down into these corners. I also need to bring down the crafting stations and furnaces. I guess the furnaces can go here. That won't interfere with anything. Alright, Operation Claim Our Crap. That's most of it. Three stacks for the furnaces, 1 stack from me for torches. I don't want the part builder adjacent to the furnace again. It was weird to have it connected like that. Weird and awkward. So we are not going to do that. Instead, I will sink it into the back 1 block further. So that is not an issue. Where are my patterns? There's at least half a stack of patterns in there. Hello? Patterns? Well, that's very unpleasant. They're not secretly hiding any of my existing inventory slots either. So this is actually a not so minor bug that the Hephaestus mod has. I've noticed it before, which is why I don't use the Hephaestus specialty crafting table. If I can point out what that looks like. Hephaestus allows for a crafting station if you just put a pattern on top of, well, any crafting table. And this crafting station is, on its face, very convenient. In Tinker's Construct on Forge especially, because it can pull, like, the way having the part builder next to the furnace gave visibility of the furnace contents. In the same manner, having a crafting station next to a chest gives visibility of the chest's contents. And particularly on older Forge versions, if you were to shift-click to craft a whole bunch in bulk, it would pull from the chest's inventory as well as from the items in the crafting station, which could be convenient, could be a pain. It really depends on what you were expecting to have happen. But the issue with it here on Fabric is that it doesn't always exactly interface with inventory stuff correctly. Like, I have shift-clicked what was supposed to be a crafted stack and crafted a single item, and only a single item, which consumed all of the materials. Like, imagine doing that to make 8 furnaces, shift-clicking. All this cobblestone disappears and you get 1 furnace. That's the kind of thing that happened. That's why I don't use the Hephaestus crafting station anymore. But something like that has happened to all of my crafting patterns. Which is not the worst thing, they're only wood. So it's more of a warning than anything else. Alright, I always get gates and fences backwards. This is 1 fence post. I intend to use to get a lead on my horse. For now, though, the horse is gone over there a pasture. We'll figure that out later. I'm also going to need a stone cutter to make some stairs. I need to get some lighting in here. These X's that I just invoked by pressing a hotkey is light level overlay. Very useful for seeing exactly how lit things are. Yellow X's mean, ostensibly, that a creature could spawn there if it's not exposed to sunlight. Basically, any X means a mob could spawn there. So, inside the base, we want no X's on the floor with that mode enabled. And I'm going to need to step away for a moment. So we'll just hit pause here. A luxury that Nightingale does not offer. Actually, it does now in offline mode, so I shouldn't say that. But all the same, I'll be back shortly. Right, we now return to our humblest beginnings. And on the to-do list is getting our stuff repaired. Which needs more part builders, or part patterns, which is why I haven't done it yet. I know, I'm kind of jumping around. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing here, so that's why I'm jumping around a bit. Repair with bone. Repair with copper. And we'll prepare some repair kits. So we'll be ready to fix our stuff in the field. And even though I paused time, it seems like it's still dark o'clock. Well, I was bemoaning not having shears, so let's get those ready. I guess while I'm waiting for it to not be dark, we can continue cutting out this space. I personally believe that Tinker's Construct, the original Tinker's Construct, back in, I don't know what version, is one of the reasons that we have a Minecraft offhand at all. See, way back, before there was an offhand, the Tinker's Construct pickaxe specifically was granted a right-click ability. So if you had torches in an inventory slot, in a hotbar slot adjacent to the pickaxe, you could right-click with the pickaxe and it would place one of those torches. That feature is no longer necessary because the offhand exists and you can do the same thing. But I think the idea for the Minecraft offhand was stolen, insofar as ideas can be stolen, from the original Tinker's Construct in that way. Might not be true, but that is my personal headcanon anyway. So what do I need right now? Well, I want to get this monstrosity work done. So that's going to involve sand, gravel, and clay. One of the flaws of playing with Spectrum and Hephaestus is that both of these consume a lot of real estate. I'm going to be dedicating a lot, just a whole lot of base space to both of these mods, both indoors and out. On the plus side, my cobble and dirt supply is incredible. So I'll be able to do more or less whatever I want. And I keep opening the wrong chest because in my previous offline, my previous off-screen playthrough, these two chests were reversed. So that's why I'm having a bit of trouble remembering what chest things are in and what chest they aren't. It's still dark out there. Alright, we'll plan our next move. Sand is easy. It's everywhere in the desert. We have just a big sweeping desert, where if you go north, you can't help but hit it. Gravel is usually fairly common, especially underground. So clay is going to be the trick. Clay is common in some places, not in others. And I don't think I'm seeing smooth basalt. I don't know if that text is large enough to read, but Minimap is saying this little gray patch in the middle of this water here is smooth basalt. That is fairly important to note. So I guess we'll be going west-northwest to investigate that. But anyway, sand, gravel, and clay. And the outdoors is just not being kind. The sand, gravel, and clay in question is going to be required in, honestly, vast amounts. Huh? Didn't I break that block? And while there are other ways to acquire gravel and sand specifically, though not clay, I do not presently have access to them. Take a peek out the back door here. Aha, what now? I have escaped. Let's turn off the lighting overlay X's because it's outdoors. Everything's going to be X'd. Enderman. Dead Endermen and Ender Pearls are very important. It's kind of a premium material. Unfortunately, they are very, very strong. So I want nothing to do with them right yet. Death by bone sword, easy. Here comes another one. I want to mine this clay, but I want to do so in peace. Any other challengers? No? Then let's begin. Let's just try not to drown ourselves in our zeal. Then there's this thing here. This is very likely a little bit of goodies given to us by the Spectrum mod. Indeed. We have a nice, bright yellow citrine geode. And having mined citrine clusters, or the first gemstone cluster of any kind, we've just randomly been given the Colorful World book, which is the guidebook to the Spectrum mod itself. Ooh, I hear the trader. The trader could have something for me. Coral, pumpkin, sand, saplings. You're useless. But that doesn't mean you're completely useless. I will be taking your leads, so I can tie up my horse. Okay. We got some clay, which is a start. Honestly, the big pull from this brief expedition has been the lead. So now I can have a word with where my horse is and establish where it should be. You there. Right here. Now, the citrine and citrine block are a special resource. They need to put somewhere else. And it's going to be in here, which is wrong, but that's all I have at the moment. Colorful World can also stay behind. We'll deal with that later. We are still in the market for clay and gravel. Of the two, clay is of course the harder to come by. At least in general. We seem to be doing decently alright on that front for now. There's also the small and irritating matter of gravel becoming flint. We may also need flint down the line, but we don't need flint right now. So every piece of flint is a gravel wasted. What the? Oh, this is the acacia I cut down. I think a sample of bamboo stalk just to have on hand would also be nice. But really, it's still all about the sand and gravel right now. Sand especially. And the reason, which I am just now realizing I've neglected to mention, is because sand, gravel, and clay is the recipe for grout, which goes into that deeper reading book that the Hephaestus guidebook mentioned. I should say the first Hephaestus guidebook mentioned. And sand also, of course, can be smelted into glass, which is also extremely valuable for many reasons. Mostly potion bottle related reasons, but also decorative. There aren't many transparent wall blocks. This, of course, is mangling my tool. It always does. But this is one of the rare occasions where I prefer consuming durability on a tool to mining by hand. Because mining sand by hand is just so slow. I actually appreciate the time saving. Now, unfortunately, my horse keeps escaping. Every time I stop paying attention to it, it goes off to rejoin its friends at pasture. That's not what we're about, horse. We're looking for gravel. And my funky shovel thing's running out of durability, which is what the repair kit was for. I can fix it in the field. Let's not drown ourselves in our zeal for gravel. It is strange to be so excited over gravel, because in vanilla Minecraft it's such a worthless material. It's just the other gravity block. Sand falls, gravel falls, that's the end of their similarities. And everyone uses sand in their contraptions because it's more visually striking. And gravel has that annoying tendency to become flint when you least want it to. Still need more gravel. The quest for gravel continues. These It's so strange to have these weird lake formations that just cut as deep as ravines. World Gen needs to calm down. I'm not going to be able to safely dig that. It's too deep. Also, we're out of daylight. Alright, I guess back home we go. This is all the sand and gravel I've been able to procure for now. Don't mess with the fast horse. I don't have any more gravel in here, but I do have more clay. For all the good it'll do. And we have plenty of flint. Just in case that ever becomes useful. Okay. So we have clay, sand, gravel. I guess it doesn't work like that anymore. Clay, sand, gravel. Uh-huh. What if I do this? There we go. That recipe still works. Add some more clay, sand, gravel. I think I can manage a book. Book and grout gives us puny smelting. Some lower pages, and it'll teach us about the melter. The melter gives us plus 30% per ore. And I don't know why it says by default. Maybe that's a config option. You can melt 3 things at once into a fluid tank with solid fuel. More lore and fascinating images here. Tanks and faucets and tanks and faucets. I didn't know you could put a faucet on the underside of a block like that. I probably should have known that. Faucets respond to redstone, which is neat. There are also channels. And grout makes the book. Grout smelts into seared brick. Blast into seared brick and melts into seared. It smelts into 1 brick, or melts into 2 bricks. I did not know that. I did not know that melting doubled grout. Oh well, I'll have to work around that. But we're working with seared. I'm going to use a smeltery controller, but the only way to make a smeltery controller is to pour 4 ingots of molten copper onto seared stone. So the only way to do that is to get a melter online. The seared melter is 5 seared brick and a seared ingot tank of some kind, which will be with glass and more seared brick. So I should be smelting some sand as well. And Twitch just does not want to run my stream today. I have disconnected warnings and oops, accidentally banned somebody again. Why is Twitch just not working today? Anyway, things will be smelting for a bit, and is that dawn? It shouldn't be. This is westward. What's going on? Is it the sun or the moon coming up? Oh no, this is east facing. It is sunrise. Well, imagine my surprise. Okay, things really do not be going according to plan in terms of streaming instability. So we have more warnings. This is gonna have to go down. It's telling me. It's telling me that today is not a good stream day. I mean, there's nothing I can do about this from the